Hey everybody, this is Greg Miller from the IGN PlayStation team, here to talk to you about F.E.A.R for the PlayStation 3. Sure, you already know a lot about this game. It's hit 360 and made a big impact on PC, but finally it's here for Sony's big black box. So let's talk about it a little bit. Alright, in case you didn't know, F.E.A.R is short for First Encounter Assault Recon. It's a title that puts you in the shoes of a super secret government agent who's there to take care of supernatural threats to national security. Now, when you begin F.E.A.R, it's your first week on the job, you go out on your first case, and it seems self-explanatory and pretty easy. There's this crazy cannibal who can control these army of clone soldiers with his mind. So eventually you get there and you realize not all is what it seems. There is a little ghost girl in a red dress who keeps popping up in the corner of your eye. You'll see shadows move, you'll try to follow them, and they won't be there. And pretty soon you realize that there's something going on here that's a little bit more supernatural than what you're used to. And as you continue to chase this crazy cannibal guy and the girl keeps popping up, you eventually start to get the idea that maybe your power to slow down time and your power to see this kind of supernatural stuff is all intertwined with the girl, the guy, and yourself. Obviously, F.E.A.R is always rated well, but what really makes it excel here on your PlayStation 3 is just amazing gameplay. The AI is really smart. When you're up against these clone soldiers, they're not only going to be running in formations, they're going to shout out your location. When they get you pinned down, it's not unusual to have one of them break off and try to come around and flank you from the back. The weapons themselves are a lot of fun to play with, and that comes from, I think, being able to play around with the slow motion so much. Like I said, obviously every first-person shooter has a shotgun, but being able to slow down time and run up on somebody that just blows it out of the water. And plus they have some cool particle weapons. There's a bunch that basically shoot this blue beam of energy and hit somebody and turn them instantly into a skeleton in a pool of blood. It's just a one-shot kill. It's really, really neat and unique for the title. Also, pretty cool for F.E.A.R is just the scare element in general. I mean, there's something really to be said for walking through a dark corridor and you have this flashlight on the screen, you're going left and right trying to find something, and all of a sudden something shoots past you and you turn to look at it and it's not there. It's just an empty room. The ghost element is something that's really played up in this game, and it's really played up well, and it makes for definitely some fun 3 a.m. gaming if you want to. So multiplayer on F.E.A.R is awesome, especially for the PlayStation Network, which has been hurting, I know, for some good games. But you can jump on there, simple to use, easy to set up matches, it's easy to invite friends that you know or people you've played with before. You can jump right in with deathmatch, co-op, team battle, and use the weapons you know from the single-player gameplay. But there's also some really neat tricks they throw in there as far as proximity mines and time grenades and stuff like that. It's stuff you know, but when other people are doing it and you have to worry about it and watch for it, it's very cool. But it's not all sunshine and skulls for F.E.A.R. The graphics really aren't that up to snuff for what you'd expect for a $600 machine. They're definitely not as sharp as the PC. They're not as good as the 360. And they're not bad. They're not ugly, but the textures aren't there. And especially in a game that's so heavily reliant on, here's a dark area and here's how I'm going to illuminate it, it just gets let down sometimes when you get up stuff and things seem just really empty or bland. And one thing that bothered me was that this game's so centered on being in these dark places and you having to illuminate them with your flashlight. But once you jump in there and you jump into these dark, really somewhat bland rooms and you turn on your flashlight, you'll roll over a table or a chair and you'll notice that no shadow pops up. It starts to come to you that the circle of light on your screen isn't illuminating. It's not creating light in the environment. All it's doing is brightening that one spot on your own screen. And that's kind of a drawback for something that plays so heavily on shadows and what you don't see and what you see jump in the corner of your eye. A drawback for some is going to be the load times. They are longer than what we saw on the PC and the 360. And while not obscene, you're still somewhere between half a minute and a minute. And I know that when you're just trying to get in and get to a bunch of shooting and just have some fun, that can be a problem. A multiplayer drawback is there's no voice chat capability. And that's really going to stink for anybody who wants to get into these situations for Capture the Flag and talk to their friends about how they want to flank or how they want to go or where good weapons are or where a health pack is for your friend. It's all going to have to be based on sight, and that's going to be tough. Another thing that bothered me was that there were some glitches in the game, and it's not an obscene amount, it's not going to distract you completely, but there'll be certain things where somebody will be on the floor about to die, give you their final words, and then start twitching on the floor and slowly moving in a circle their body. Or you'll throw a grenade into a room and then you'll run in to take out the last few enemies, and you notice that first wave that you killed is stuck in the ceiling or sticking out of walls, and it's kind of distracting, but I think the gameplay overall makes up for it. So that's the rundown on F.E.A.R. It's a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. The AI is smart. There's lots to love about the game if you can put aside the few problems that I had with load times and glitches and the weaker graphics. Here at IGN, we gave it an 8.1, so we thought it was impressive, and we think you would too. For the full written review, check out IGN.com.